It's Bruins Benders post-game live on the Inside the Rink YouTube channel with Matty and Smitty. Click subscribe. Get your Bruins Benders merch on InsideTheRink.com/Bruins-Benders. Follow Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I don't even know if we're on there anymore. X at Bruins Benders.
Fans.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. You can love a Bruins hockey team again, can't you? I mean, this was a come from behind 3-2 win. 3 goals in less than 8 minutes from a team that really has trouble scoring. You just didn't think it was going to be their night. It was kind of a snooze fest of a game for a large part of it.
Yeah.
And, all of a sudden, the Bruins get a power play. They get a great play from Mittelstadt to Pastrnak, scores a goal, and then a really gritty effort from the Lauko line. That creates a chance for Lohrei. And then all of a sudden, Pastrnak makes a great play along the wall to shed a player and then gets a quick little backhand feed to Zacha, who buries it. And here we are. Sam Bennett's get his shit stomped in.
That was awesome.
And here come the Bruins.
I mean, that was look,
yeah.
I don't care if they lose the rest of the games now. Like the fact that they came back and beat that fucking team and Sam Bennett got his shit absolutely pushed in at the end.
Yeah.
Worth it. Worth it. Oh my God, was it worth it?
It was. I mean, Zadorov just clocked him, and he had no answer, Bennett. And then he tried to still like rabbit punch him underneath.
Shot him when the linesman's holding Zadorov.
Take your punishment. Take your ass kicking, and go back to the. I'll tell you what, Florida was a little shell shocked. Like they were a little like stunned by it. I think they thought that thing was over. Like they were taking.
They did. Sure, they did.
And then all of a sudden, the Bruins come back, and after that fight with Zadorov, and then Paul Maurice was he had a quizzical look on his face. It just looked like they didn't know what hit them.
No, they looked like what the Bruins looked like against Florida, usually in late game situations.
Right.
It was the roles were reversed tonight. The Florida looked like the Bruins, kind of shell shocked and not sure what was going on. Mm-hmm. And the Bruins, obviously at the very end there, they were holding on for dear life, but, made the saves they needed to make. Swayman was big, especially on that 2-on-1 where he made the blocker save there. Shorthanded, huge stop at the time. And, make some saves late and the Bruins get the victory. Just a huge, gutsy victory for this team. And climbed a little closer into the wild card,
didn't they? I mean, we talked about the last game, and we were a little ahead of it. Like last game, it felt good to have them win. They played really well, and you thought, well, geez, they're still in it. Now you tend to think like, boy, they really are. I mean, Thursday night's game.
Thursday night's game is a huge game.
It is a huge game. If you win those two, if you get those 2 points, then you're at 70, and you're right there. And then the schedule gets a little bit easier down the road here. You get some games you can absolutely win. And now all of a sudden, you might be in the thing. And if you're in the thing to April, that's all we can ask for as fans. But I'll tell you, this is a much more likable team, a much more easier team to root for. They play extremely hard. They seem to be meshing pretty well together for a team of guys that just thrown together.
It really is
unbelievable.
It's
really
a team of also rans. It's a team of like nobodies, basically, and they're all going out and playing hard. Mm-hmm. They're playing the way we said they should have played all year long. Like early in the season, we were like every line should play like the fourth line was playing. It was like relentless on pucks, turning the puck over, getting the puck to the net, and crashing the net and making things happen, causing turnovers, making things happen. Yeah. The team as a whole now seems to be doing that.
Yeah.
As a whole. I thought the Zacha outside of, that last play there, I thought the Zacha Geekie Pastrnak line was probably their worst line tonight.
It was.
5-on-5.
Mm-hmm. It was.
So if the other lines start going and then you can get that line to start clicking again a little bit, then you might be in business a little bit here.
Yeah, you might have something there. And I
tell
you,
the speed is a while anyway. Make it fun.
The speed is a different maker right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've added some speed and they've taken away some slow guys. I mean, that's the first thing. And Lohrei coming into his own. I mean, this stretch here where there's no Lindholm is really helping Lohrei. He's getting a ton of ice time. He's getting a lot of confidence. I mean, he made a play. He scored the goal, and then he made a play where he made a bad kind of play, pinch. He skated his ass off, lifted the guy's stick, turned, and fired a pass to Pastrnak, who gets a shot on that right away. A quick transition. It was a great play.
It was a great play.
So he's doing really well. I mean, he's taking advantage of his opportunity. So at this point, at least it's a fun team to watch.
Yeah, like you said, the first couple periods were kind of a snooze fest, but in the third period, once the Bruins got that goal, then Florida kind of was like, all right, we got to, we have to reinsert our domination here, kind of, and the Bruins weren't having it. And there were scrums after every whistle. Everybody was in, and they were sticking up for each other. I thought, Jesus, Jaukb Lauko was fantastic tonight. He was everywhere.
He was
everywhere. He really was sticking up for teammates. Causes the turnover on the second goal to get Lohrei the goal, and he was excellent. And I think him and who's Nadinov?
There you go. Who's Nadinov? Yeah,
Nutty. Yeah, we're gonna call him Nutty. Lauko and Nutty. Have some pretty good chemistry.
They do. They do.
And an underrated play, and we've dogged him all year, and certainly I have about his contract especially, but how about the one-handed pass on the second effort from Elias Lindholm to get the puck to Mittelstadt so that he can make the pass to Pastrnak for the goal?
Yeah.
Huge play.
That was a great play. Huge play. And he was on the ice for the Lohrei goal too. So, I mean, look, he's really, hasn't been great. Hasn't been, especially offensively. It just hasn't been very good. But he was more like he has been the last 3 years than he was 4 years ago. So it wasn't like we didn't tell you so. But look, maybe guys like Zacha and Lindholm, that's the other thing. When you get these other guys coming in and they're trying to win jobs and they're trying to prove themselves, so they're going to play hard every night. And maybe it rubs off on guys like Zacha and Lindholm. And they have to start raising their play some because everybody else is playing hard, and you're like a complete asshole if you aren't.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe that's part of it too.
I think
guys are just less comfortable than they were because that's what we said all the time.
That's what I was going to say. It's not a country club now. Like jobs are open. Got core players were traded. Like you, if you don't perform, you might not be here. So if you want to be here, you have to play hard now. And I think that's part of the message. I think that's part of the reason you're seeing guys all of a sudden start to play harder.
Yeah.
It's because it's a pretty big shock when the captain gets traded off your team.
Yeah.
And can they sustain it? Well, I mean, who knows? But it's going to be fun for a while anyways, because they're going to be fighting their asses off for the last, 15, 18 games or whatever it is.
We're a step closer to a really good Canadiens Bruins game in Montreal.
Oh, hell yeah.
We're a step closer. Every single game, we're a step closer to a game that means something between Montreal and Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm looking for right now. That's the target right now. I mean, and the other thing is that, a lot of these guys aren't guaranteed to get another shot somewhere else.
No.
So this is where their opportunity is. So if I'm a guy like Lauko, then I'm thinking, this is a team now in flux. They're going to be making decisions. If I can show my worth, maybe I can get a bottom 6 spot in this team next year, at least to start the year. Maybe I can get another 1-year deal if I really show my worth here. And then Khustnidinov, he's getting actually a shot to play more NHL hockey. He hasn't ever played in the AHL yet. He'll get a chance to play in the AHL playoffs. So there's a chance for him to show his worth. And, Mittelstadt, we clamored, we liked him a year ago.
Yeah.
We liked him as an addition a year ago. And here he is. And I think he's going to be a really nice addition to this team. I think he could be a really good second line center for them or what have you. And then it pushes Lindholm down to third line center. And even though he's making almost $8 million a year, that's where you have to put him. So get a couple of wingers.
Yeah. Look, if that's where he belongs, that's where he belongs. And, contract be damned. Like, if he play him in a shutdown role against the other team's best players, like he's a really good two-way player.
Yeah.
Do that thing. And then give me offense once in a while. and I'll be fine with it because the cap's going to go up. I wish the contract wasn't what it is, but it is. So, you got to deal with it. And, but put him in that kind of role, and, hopefully it's Mittelstadt at 2C and, I guess Zacha at 1C for now.
Sure.
And then hopefully you can fill in some scoring on the wings and next year. And, then you're cooking with gas, maybe.
Yeah. I still think they can make the playoffs next year if they get a winger or two that can score.
I say they will make it.
Yeah,
I think they will make the playoffs next year.
I do too. And an interesting point raised. I don't know if it was Connor and the producer Connor in the chat today or what have. I don't know who it was, but talking about maybe Marchand coming back in the summer and yada yada. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it's going to be interesting to see if this team finishes the season fairly well and then has an off season where they get a guy or something, and then looks like they might be immediately better in a playoff bound type of team. It'll be interesting to see if Marchand thinks about, maybe I'll make a bid to come back. Maybe not next year, but maybe the year after. Who knows? I don't know. But right now, and I think someone in the chat here actually said it. Wonder what Marchand thinks now in the locker room, thinking, holy shit, he's watching this game in the locker room wherever he was, and he sees this happen, and he sees this Bruins team performing like it is. And it wasn't just the fact that they came back and won, it was the way that they stood up for each other, and they were physical, and they were getting into scrums, like you said on X, like you love the scrums. Like there were a lot more scrums. There must have been more scrums tonight than were in the last month with this team. Yeah. Like it's just everybody was in the scrum, and everybody was, Andrew Peeke was fucking livid. I haven't ever seen that. He was livid. I kill a guy.
I tell you, I like Zadorov and Peeke out there together because they just that's a really
that's a McQuaid Ferentz type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's if down the line, whenever it is, they can get there in the playoffs. That's people aren't gonna have fun playing against those two guys.
Nope.
Because in the playoffs, you can get away with more shit than you can in the regular season. So having Zadorov lean on you or cross check you or whatever he's gonna do for an entire series, that can't be any fun at all.
No, it can't be. I'm really interested to see this game Thursday. I mean, they're playing an Ottawa team that's really hot, playing well. They're really starting to.
Florida was hot. Florida was 7-2.
Tampa was hot.
13. And with 4 shutouts, they hadn't given up a goal in almost 190 minutes or something. 188
like the third
minutes
game in a row.
And then the Bruins score 3 in the third.
Yeah.
I mean, of all teams, the team with like the 26th best offense comes back against a team that's playing that well. Huge win. Huge
win. I mean, it was just an enormous win. So Thursday's is just a big one, in my opinion. I mean, this is like, it'll be really interesting. If they can win Thursday, then you can really start to think, well, maybe this team has a little bit of something and could possibly make it. I mean, who knows? And, honestly, I'd rather like you said last post game or in the episode, wherever it was. In fact, check out the episode. It's out.
Yeah.
But you said, like, this team, I just lost my train of thought.
Something about this team,
you'd rather make the playoffs, than get this, Fakakta draft pick that they might get.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like they're going to end up at, 10th or 12th or somewhere, in the middle, highish middle. Yeah, that's great, but it's not a great draft. Like the top 3 or 4 guys are supposed to be pretty good, but after that, it's, whatever. So I would rather see him make the playoffs. Like I always root for them to win. So I want them to win. So yeah, just fucking get in and give me playoff hockey. Like I'd like to see that. Fucking Florida did this shit to you when you had the best record in the league 2 years ago. Get into the playoffs and then anything can happen. If Swayman gets hot, if Pastrnak gets hot, who knows?
I know.
But be a pain in the ass to someone else. You got nothing to lose at this point. They can go in fucking free and easy with no pressure on them at all and see what happens.
Yeah. Do you think there was a problem there? Something with Marchand or somebody? Like there was a problem in the locker room? It just seems like the team is just different. I know some of the guys are different and they're faster and they're younger and they're trying to play hard and all that. But it just almost feels like there's a different feeling to the team now too. And I know winning helps, but it almost seems as though, maybe there was something there with Marchand, because by the reports today, the Bruins went up to about 6.3 or so, Ryan Whitney said. And it almost seemed like they were ready to kind of move on from him. Maybe it wasn't just age. Maybe there was something there where it just wasn't a healthy, room.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible. Look, I mean, if he was pissed off all year long, like at Swayman, maybe there's an undercurrent of that in the locker room all year that you just kind of know is there. No one says anything and everybody acts normally, but, maybe just underneath the surface it's something always there. And then when the team goes bad and you fire your coach, there's some other things there. Now this, maybe some other guys liked Monty or didn't like who knows? But all that stuff, adds up and is just kind of, there's a pressure. Like the team thought they were going to be better. Management thought the team was going to be better. Like everybody's disappointed. And then when the captain gets traded, it's like, all right, they don't expect anything from us now. So maybe that's a rallying cry within the room. Like, let's show these fucking guys that we can do it. Let's show Sweeney and Neely that we can do it, that we deserve to be here or whatever it is. And maybe Sacco's saying, it's like in Major League, you put a picture of the owner up and take a piece of clothing off of her after every win. Right. Maybe it's something like that where you're doing it to try to, spite management and ownership and show them, that you can pull something off here.
I think that David Pastrnak deserves a lot of credit. I mean,
he really does.
He really does, and he's not gonna get it because there's people out there who aren't gonna give it to him. But he deserves a lot of credit for kind of keeping this thing together and coming out and he scores that huge goal tonight. And he makes the huge play to Zacha for the game-winning goal. So there's two big plays by him when they needed it. And, he's the guy left over. I mean, McAvoy and Lindholm are hurt.
Yeah.
Like, he's the guy left over, from that old group. And, they are playing better. And this team is in a much better space, much better vibe. And he's at the forefront. I mean, he has to deserve some credit.
Yeah, he is at the forefront. And if he doesn't get hard votes, he should get them.
He should.
And I don't care if other people have 100 points or whatever. He's still, whatever he is, 7th in the league.
He's 8 points tonight. 81
now. Yeah. So he's like, what is he, 4th or 5th in the league in scoring or something like that?
Terrible team.
On a terrible team. And like we said before, like if they make the playoffs, I mean, he should be top 5 for the Hart Trophy. There's no doubt in my mind. He should be.
It should be.
With the collection of talent that this team has, with the injuries that they've had, firing a coach, like all that stuff, for him to hold it together and basically on his back carry this team to the playoffs, that'd be something else. Really would be.
It would be something else. All right, to the comments, Matthew Curtis says, is this team grittier and tougher to play against than last Thursday's team? I would say yes. And is this what hard to play against looks like? I mean, is this what when they say that? Is this what the identity is? Christ.
Maybe so. Maybe it is.
Maybe we found it.
Maybe it is.
But is it also show them how absolutely moronic they were to go get big, slow guys and think that they needed to be heavy? You just beat Florida with a bunch of, fast, quick, younger guys, and then a guy who took Sam Bennett's head off, like in a great goal scorer. That's what you beat the team with. You didn't need a bunch of 6'5" guys who can't skate.
No, you needed more. Look, and Lauko and Khustnidinov and Lettieri, all of those guys are fast.
Yeah, Mittelstadt is fast.
Mittelstadt's quicker than Coyle was. So all those guys have speed, and they're willing to hit. Like Khustnidinov is willing to hit. Lauko is willing to hit. Lettieri was going after Mikkola, who's like a giant, and Lettieri's like 5'9". So they have balls, and they have some grit, and they have some toughness. You don't need to be 6'6" to have toughness. No, you just have to be willing to compete against guys who are 6'6" and get in there and mix it up and do whatever it takes. And they're willing to do that now because they're trying to earn jobs or, whatever it is. But that should be the identity. I've said that's what I want. I want a relentless team on the forecheck. I thought tonight the Bruins, for the most part, especially late, were relentless. They just were on top of Florida constantly, causing turnovers, pressuring, and, it took Florida off their game a little bit.
Matthew Curtis also says, what have we done? I'm becoming a huge Zadorov fan, which, I kind of am too. I mean, I say put an A on him next year, at least at this point. Took us almost a full season to become a fun to watch competitive hockey team. And that's all that they are right now. And we wondered all year long, why weren't they starting on time? Why does the coaching staff have to coach effort? Like, why is it a problem? Like, what is the problem? And it really has to come down to, which we said, is that guys just were too comfortable.
Yeah.
And you had 2 coaches fired and the players remained all the way through it, and they were getting what they wanted. And at this point now, 5 of them get shipped, including the captain. And now the other guys are like, oh shit, can't rely on that now because I could be next. And here you go. Yeah. And that's all it took was one guy earlier on 3 months ago to get shipped and say, okay, we mean business. We will ship out a core guy.
Yeah. I mean, and that's part of what the issue has been with Sweeney with the core, going around the edges all the time and not being willing to make the big move. The big move shows that a guy on the core can get traded, and then there's accountability that follows that. There hasn't been accountability in years there. Like you said, too comfortable. Everybody can just kind of do what they want. They can not skate if they don't want to because nothing's going to happen. They're not going to get traded. They're not going to get benched. They're not going to get, they're not going to miss a shift, unless you're a young guy. You don't get scratched, So there's no accountability. Why should they try hard over the course of an 82 game season when they can just coast through it? And, they thought they were great. And we'll make the playoffs. It'll be fine, and we'll just coast around and everything.
They they'd make the playoffs without a problem. They did.
And this is what they have to be. This is what the good teams are. This is why Carolina's good all the time. This is why Florida's good all the time. Florida plays like that all the time. You play like that, once in a while. Mm-hmm. That's why it's such the best period we've seen them play all year. Like, yeah, but that's terrible to say that.
Yeah, it is.
Why is the best period you've played all year in a game after you're out of playoff contention and you trade your captain in fucking March? Why is that your best period of the season? Now is when it happens? That's fucking awful. Yeah, sorry, John, but it is.
It is. It's shameful, really.
Yeah.
It is. Matthew Curtis says Pastrnak gets the C's, Zadorov and McAvoy get the A's. Could happen.
I agree with that. I think that's what it should be.
That could happen. What a win.
Episode at the end of the episode.
Yeah, we were talking about Pastrnak and who gets the C's and A's. And Zadorov is a guy that about a month or two ago, we started to talk about as showing some leadership qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And now here it is. It's continuing on. And now he sees an opening to really do it because, Coils and Carlos and Marchands are gone. So,
I think tonight he made a statement that he's a Boston Bruin. Like, I'm on this team.
He did.
Yeah, it felt
he asked waved to the crowd, and he was barking at Bennett. He looked like a psychopath. Like I was scared. Like he looked like he was gonna rip his throat out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's what, and boy, did he connect on that right hand. That was beautiful. Beautiful thing to see. What a win. Says Dan Maynard, only caught the last 5 minutes, but this team already looks better than this year as a whole, and it does. And it's kind of accidental, as Adrienne said in the comments. It's almost like this is accidentally made this scrappy bunch that came together. It's kind of strange. But that can happen in hockey. It's just a group just gets together and just has the right mojo.
One thing that Billy Jaffe said earlier tonight on the NESN pregame, which I found interesting, was he said that the group in the room generally was pretty quiet. And a guy like Lauko has some personality and brings some personality. And I think they say, the room could use some more guys with a little bit of personality, a little bit of, add some life and stuff to the room. Like certainly Marchand did that. Yeah. He's been there forever. So just some injection of maybe some new guys, some new personalities that will add a little life to the room. And it seems like maybe it helped jumpstart.
It makes sense though if you think about the roster before the trades. Like if you go down the roster, it's a bunch of soft-spoken kind of guys. Not a lot
like Kylo's kind of quiet. Oils, they're conscientious, nice guys, but they're not, pranksters and jokesters. It doesn't seem like. So having some more guys with a little more, gregarious personality, a little more out there, a little more, wild or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, look at Florida. Florida is that type of personality. They have a lot of guys like that. Yeah. Been waiting 2 years, says Pejman, for somehow to throw punches against Bennett or Tkachuk without waiting for them to oblige. Thanks, Zadorov. Honestly, like him. Overpaid, but brings a lot. Elias is an absolute zero. So there you have it. But Zadorov is earning a little bit more of his money. Look, to me, it's an overpay until about 2 years from now, and then it's okay. As long as he keeps playing all right.
I mean, it was an overpay early in the season because he wasn't playing well. But now if he's playing well,
it's fine.
It's not really. I mean, it's I don't love it. I would rather it be like Brandon Carlo's number.
Sure. But that's $1 million less.
But that's what I mean. Like it's not awful. Now that he's playing well, but early in the season, it was awful. It looked like a huge mistake.
Yeah,
it really did. But now it's not. Now it is what it is. It's not awful. It really is.
No, it is what it is. We do seem faster, says Bruins 1970, with these smaller players. And hey, gritty and in your face and hunting pucks and that type of thing. That's hard to play against, folks.
Yes,
not because you're big and fat and can't fit into your pants. And definitely a game changer for the playoffs, says Matthew Curtis about Zadorov. He had a good playoff last year. He's been talking about how he's, his purpose is to come and play in the playoffs here. There's still a little bit of a chance for that. And I think Zadorov is just the type of player, like you say, gets away with a little bit more stuff. It gets a little nasty. He feeds off that.
Sure does.
He likes that. He gets a little bit of juice from that. Adrenaline makes him a better player. And I think that's why when the games get tight and they get more important, that's what it is. Let's see what else. This one shows that the Bruins know that they haven't been good this year, and they give a shit about it, and are as tired of losing as all of us.
100%. I'm just looking up Zadorov's line tonight. He had an assist. He was +1, 5 shots, 3 shots missed, 2 block shots, 7 penalty minutes, 4 hits, a takeaway, no giveaways, 25 shifts, 22-48. Played the most among Bruins defensemen. So pretty good night from Nikita Zadorov overall.
Yeah, pretty good night. And thank you, Matthew Curtis, for being concerned about my video getting lost, but lost a little bit of a camera there for some reason. But here I am. I think that overall, I think that when Lindholm at Hampus and McAvoy come back next season, I mean, your defense is pretty set. You have to replace Carlo, but you might have Jokiharju if you sign him back, or you get another guy.
Sure.
But I think the defense is fine. I think the goaltending will be largely fine. Swayman let in that one today, and that wasn't great, but the Florida didn't score in the third. So, so it was, and he made some saves in the third in traffic.
Yeah.
That he was able to keep it out of the net. And here's the other thing. They didn't give up a late period goal.
No.
They didn't give up that late one I thought they would with about 45 seconds left. I thought, here it comes. Here it comes.
Zacha
won a draw, and they won a couple of draws on the defensive end, which really helped. They kept it for the most part to the outside, and they played a little bit better in front of the goaltender, and they were able to get the win. They didn't play as timid and as unsure of themselves as they have in the past.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And also it was Peeke and Zadorov out there at the end who can move bodies in front of the net. It wasn't Mitchell and Wotherspoon or Lohrei. It was the big boys to be able to move bodies in front of the net a little bit.
Yeah, it 100% was. Let's see some of the other comments here. Let's see, condolences to Don Cherry. His brother Dick passed away a couple of days ago. Dick Cherry was also my grade school principal, says Ryan Russell. Yeah, it's too bad. Grapes, one of the great characters of the game. We'll have to have Grapes on sometime.
Yeah,
we'll probably have to have like a 3-hour segment and just let him go.
We should. You know who else we should have on? Riley Tufte.
Yeah, Riley Tufte. Yeah,
follows your boys on Twitter now.
He does. He follows us on X. Unbelievable. Yeah, today
of all days. So it was a good thing. We weren't bashing him or anything like that.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
Riley should certainly not go back into the archives and listen to the shows.
No, don't do that.
Just from here forward, because we are big Riley Tufte fans, always have been. And he's down in Providence, I believe, getting ready for the Calder Cup playoffs down there. So you should go down to Providence and you should check him out in action down there, scoring goals, creating havoc, doing what he does in and around the net. Yeah. So that was kind of a cool little thing, though.
It was cool. The type of first professional hockey player. We've had a lot of family members.
We have, yeah.
But not Cindy DeBrusco was kind of a fan of ours. She'd like our tweets all the time about Jake, and Phil Poitras on there.
Yep.
Matt's father, and there's a bunch of family members of players. But not an actual player. So nice for Tufte to give us a follow. Hopefully he listens and watches a little bit. Why not? Yeah. I think the players would like the show. I think they would. I mean, we get on some players but I think they'd get a chuckle out of it, and I think they'd find it fairly entertaining.
Yeah, look, they're welcome to come on anytime and chirp us as hard as we have given it.
Yeah,
100%. We're willing to take it. We're willing to take the abuse.
Yes,
for the content.
Yes,
and you can get certainly better hockey players than us.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Zach Hayes says the most proud of the Bruins I've been all year. It's about time someone filled Bennett in. He's given us more cheap shots in the last 3 years than anyone I can remember, and that's true, including tonight when he tried to rabbit punch friggin' Zadorov while he's on the ice and covered by the linesman. But yeah, it was nice to see him get his ass kicked a little bit. So that's nice. Kind of astonished at what this team just did, said Matthew Curtis. I was too. I mean, I really thought it was dead in the water. I'm like, okay, one game was great, but this is what this team's going to be. Can't score. Little engine that could play hard, not going to win. Okay, fine. And all of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, maybe this team has a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I mean, someone tweeted at me, and maybe I reverse jinxed the Bruins because someone tweeted at me when it was 2-0 and said, it seems like it's over. And I was like, honestly, it was over when it was 1-0.
Yeah.
And then here come the Bruins. So, you're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, no doubt. Brian Locke says great game tonight. Great game tonight, says Brian Locke. Lots of energy, good pace, and looked like they meshed well with each other tonight. No quit, finished it off. Awesome seeing Lauko yank Lundell to the ground. Lauko played great, as you said.
He did.
And look, I mean, I wouldn't mind Lauko being down with Kastelic and Koepke or somebody next year on the fourth line. I guess. I mean, Lauko is, when they sent him earlier in the year, I'm like, Lauko's Lauko. I mean, he's doesn't do much offensively, and he skates around real hard, but
he had 5 hits tonight.
But tonight,
a takeaway, no giveaways in 10 minutes. 10 minutes and change, almost 11 minutes.
That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stat filling in 10 minutes.
Yeah,
really is.
It was. I mean, zeros across the board, no shots, no goals, no plus minus. One penalty.
And he was on the ice for the Lohrei goal because he kind of grabbed the guy a little bit and
so he must have been on the ice for one of the Florida goals because he ended up being even. So
okay. Looks like the boys shed a couple pounds, losing all the dead weight, says Sean Michael, for sure. I mean, it was the team dead in the water. Now now it's like confirmed. Like this team's playing much differently than the other one was. Zadorov has been slowly taking on what should be Bruins culture for the last few months. He knows his place now, and he's fucking killing it. Sorry, John, says Dan Maynard. Correct.
Yes.
Mittelstadt, 2 games, 2 assists. Yes, Mittelstadt, some nifty hands. Great pass, Pastrnak. And he's a guy who has skill. I mean, he's a top 8th overall pick. Like he's a guy who is a hot prospect. He was an unbelievable player in Minnesota high school hockey
and college.
Like unbelievable player. Like he was the high school player of the year 2 years in a row. Like the U.S. high school player of the year 2 years in a row. Like this guy was an incredible prospect coming up. Just 25 years old still, I think 25 or 26, like 26. So
26, 6'1", 195, 26 from Eden Prairie.
Yeah. Played 3 years for Eden Prairie High. Played 3 years of high school hockey, which you typically do in Minnesota. It's so big.
Yeah.
That you typically play a lot of high school hockey there if you're from there. The best part was that other Panther was moving in to say Bennett, and Peeke said nope. Peeke was not happy with whoever that was. Not happy at all. He was after him. Let's see. Mittelstadt's assist to Pasta was nice. Really, really nifty play with his hands to get it across to Pastrnak to score. Taz 24. Team is faster, more grit, and on the power play, they're actually moving around, which is true. The power play is much better. I just don't think there's any agendas out there, and I think Lohrei makes a difference. Like he just does. Like the puck gets back, and he like fires it back in. Like he shoots the puck with purpose. He gets the puck on net. Like he has offensive skill, and I think Lohrei should really be considered a guy, that plays more power play minutes next year. I mean, the power play is much better right now. And maybe guys like Mittelstadt make a difference. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but it just looks much better.
I think they're moving the puck with more authority. I think they're not trying to pass it through people. I think that was
Marchand's not holding. Pasternak's not trying to force.
That's a Marchand problem. That's a McAvoy problem. That's a Pastrnak problem at times. Right. So if those guys aren't out there trying to pass the puck through people and you move it to the right person at the right time, you can create 2-on-1s, and that's what you do on the power play to get chances. And they, when you move it well and you can get shots through and you do the right things with it, it looks crisp. It looks good. And that's how it's looked with him back there. So I think he has to start the season as power play 1. I mean, he has to.
He has to. I think he does.
And you give McAvoy power play 2, or you give, Hampus Lindholm power play 2, and you tell McAvoy, look, you
got to be better.
Maybe they put 2 defensemen out there. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe McAvoy's, look, he has a good shot. Maybe he's better off on power play 2 to be like Pastrnak put him on the wall. Throw him on the left wing and have him be that guy.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 defensemen out there, so you're not going to give up shorthanded goals as much or whatever. And you have Lindholm quarterback the thing at the top. And you do something like that. Like they moved Geekie to the Pastrnak spot, and that seemed to work better because he's a shot guy, and Pastrnak can shoot from anywhere and score from anywhere and pass from anywhere. So, mix things up a little bit, and it seemed to work out for them. So maybe they try something else next year with something like that.
I hope we're done with the trying not hurting people's feelings or whatever, or just because McAvoy makes X amount of dollars, he's going to play this. Like fuck that. Like you have to perform, you have to win games. Christy DeLisi says, "Good game tonight, guys. Florida certainly didn't play well in that final period, and they didn't. It really looked like they were shell shocked. They were a little stunned with the Bruins response, and Bruins looked like a team that was fresh legs and youthful legs and fast and just creating opportunities and stuck with it. And Florida just kind of took
a
foot off the gas a bit.
I think Florida thought when it got to 2-0, the Bruins were just going to roll over and pack it in, and it was going to be a game that they would win, 5-1. Oh, that a boy, producer Connor. Look at him.
Yeah, there it is. That's a beauty. That's a beaut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beaut right there. Yeah, that's Bennett taking it where the sun don't shine.
Hang it in the Louvre.
Yeah.
That's well done right there.
Yeah, hang that one. Jesus.
Make that my screensaver, I think.
Yeah. As Bruins 1970 would say, suck it, Bennett.
Yeah.
And he did. He sucked that fist right in his keister, right in his face. Schmoz, whatever it is. That pick is poster worthy. It is. That case.
Yeah.
It is poster worthy. Awesome birthday present tonight for Brian Locke. Happy birthday. Waking up tomorrow a year older with that big win feeling. My asshole was clenched until the final phase. But damn, it felt good watching good hockey from them again. Hopefully it's a great birthday.
Brian Locke and Mark Kastelic, same day.
Yeah, same day. Yeah.
Kastelic today, I believe, right?
Yeah, Kastelic's birthday.
Yeah.
Let's see. If we actually make the playoffs, I'm definitely streaking naked, says Travis.
Like
I did after the Bruins defeated the Leafs in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes, Trav. We're counting on you.
We're counting on you, Trav. Across Canada.
Matthew Curtis says, you imagine this fucking DVD if those still exist anymore? It would be like a four DVD set. Like there's a lot of content.
Yeah, and the first 3 you could light on fire.
Yeah.
And
yes.
It would be like, you can use these 3 to put in your microwave and watch the sparks fly. And then the last one you actually watch. So
you know what would be awesome too if they did it like chapter style, and in the front of every chapter they had a quote from us, like just going off on the team, and then and then highlights, and then back to us going off.
If this team makes the playoff, they should use some of our video as like the hype video for the playoffs.
They should.
Maybe that's why Tufty followed you two fucking jabronis.
Maybe he's like, hey guys, you gotta watch this. You gotta watch this.
Yeah.
Fucking thing.
He's a master of the poster board material.
He is. He's helping the boys out. He's like, he's sending them texts and saying, look at what these 2 fucking clowns are saying about
these 2 guys who can't skate.
Yeah. These 2 assholes who can't even play in their backyard are saying about you guys.
They think they know everything. Well, we do.
We do. We could generate the team.
Yeah, no doubt. Everything we said needed to happen is happening. Here we are.
Yeah.
Tim Hakala or T Hakala. Tim, Tom, Tony. Fun to watch a scrappy team after a season of malaise. The new young guys playing hard is rubbing off on the court too. And I think that's true. We talked about that quickly before. I think you're right on. I think it is rubbing off on some of those guys. Katie, Sway, and Marshy spend a lot of time together publicly, so I don't know if it'd be between them. I just think that as a whole, Marchand saw these guys making these big money market deals, and he had taken a discount, and Bergeron had, and that was kind of the culture back then. We're going to do whatever it takes to win a cup. And then that kind of went by the wayside.
Yeah.
And now it comes to Marshy's second time around. He's like, you know what? You just gave Elias Lindholm 7.75. That's enough. I need 7.5 at least.
Yeah.
And that's where it kind of laid. And the Bruins, to their credit, although, Jesus, they almost fucked it up and gave him 3 years at like 6.5. Like, my God. I'm scared to think of what that would look like in a year or two. But they had to do it just because you're looking at the team right now, like the culture had gone away, and he was the captain of it. Like, so he has to take some responsibility for that the room was just not what it used to be. And that's what they used to rely on and talk about all the time, is how great the room is with the Bruins.
I don't think it was necessarily his fault, because I think he played the right way and tried to show people how to, like, he competed, but not everybody else competed. So I think everybody else got comfortable. He still competed. But in order for that thing to change, there needed to be something drastic that happened. And he was the casualty of that. He was the fall guy. Like, they traded the captain off the team, and they're like, "Whoa, fuck! If they could trade Marshy and he plays hard all the time, we better fucking play hard, or we're gone too." So I feel like he was the casualty of it, but I don't know if you can say that, you could blame him for not doing things the right way, because I think he did.
No, I think he did, but I think he's, he is the captain of a team that's having a hard time.
Sure. Yeah.
So who knows if he starts that, finishes that, whatever that is. But I mean, he's a main cog of that old core. I mean, he's the only remaining cup winner from that team. So I guess I feel like the team also thought to themselves, at the end of the day, we kind of have to move on from him and everybody.
Yeah.
Make the full change. So
and here's Nikita Zadorov post game says, all the guys show up ready for work, ready to work their balls off, and we are all playing for the crest. Sounds like a guy who should be in leadership to me.
Sounds like captain to me. Captain material. And as Hugh Fraser says, how about Zadorov as captain? Well, Hugh, there's a statement right there from him that shows that you may be correct.
Yeah.
That statement also goes on. He said, there's no quit in this team. Something's brewing for sure.
And I'll tell you what, the whole tank thing and the whole, we got to get a good draft position. The players don't care because they don't know if they'll be here.
Nope.
And that draft pick's not going to probably play for 2 or 3 years from now. So they may never play with that guy. So they don't. Every time I hear that type of thing, they gotta lose games. The players don't care. They don't know if they'll be there.
Players don't want to lose games.
No, they're not going to want to lose. They need to get paychecks themselves.
Yeah, they're professionals. They compete. They don't want to be on the losing end of anything. Like they're going to do their best to win. And here's Mason Lohrei. I haven't been that fired up in a long time. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, and he was fired up after his goal, like he was. And then the Zacha goal, and it was nice to see Zacha score. I mean, he's had snake bit. The story of his life is snake bitten, and he scored a huge goal, and maybe that gets him going. Like maybe that's something. I think their top line next year, if they re-sign Geekie, which I think they will, of Geekie, Zacha, Pastrnak, I think that's becoming a pretty decent line. Again, it's maximizing the centers that you have because you don't have a top one,
right?
But maximize them with a couple of good wingers who can score and elevate their game. So that's the way you can do it right now because you can't go out and just get a top center. It's hard to get. I kind of feel like something changed in the room, changed after the deadline. They are just more into it than they have been this year. Woo, says Jared McKinnon. It is a different feeling. And now, as Zadorov says tonight, something's brewing. Like the team feels like something's coming together, and that's a dangerous team.
Well, in the 3 games since the trade, they played well in all 3 games.
They did, yeah.
And it was against Carolina, Tampa, and Florida.
Yeah. And
they played well in all the games. I mean, they should have got a point out of the Carolina game. They got screwed on that thing when Zadorov's stick shattered.
Yeah,
at the end. But I mean, they should be 2-0-1 probably, or 3-0 if they win that thing in overtime. I don't know, but they've played well in all the games. And hopefully they continue it on Thursday night because that's a huge game.
It's a huge game. I mean, if they win that game, then they're still in. If they lose that game, then it takes some of the steam off. But if they win the game, and they're still in it, like they can have a chance to be in this thing at the end. Because again, the other teams, Ottawa, I think, like Smitty said from the beginning, is going to make the playoffs. They were better than you then. They're still better than you now, certainly. But Columbus is the other team. And Columbus, Rangers, Red Wings, like you're probably just as good as those teams right now. You can probably in a short time frame, 16 games, whatever it is, you can beat out those teams if you play well. So those other teams aren't great. So, we'll see what happens. Johnny Beecher, a couple RFAs coming down the road. Geekie, I think they re-sign. Johnny Beecher, like I said, earlier. They're going to sign him for another 1-year deal. What are your thoughts on Beach?
You know my thoughts on Beach.
I think they're going to sign him for another 1-year deal. I thought he could possibly be packaged before the deadline. He wasn't. I just think they're giving it one more shot, and I'm not sure what he brings to the table.
He doesn't bring anything to the table. Here's what I'd like for them to do. Trade Johnny Beecher at the draft and bring up Riley Tufte because he follows us on Twitter.
He follows us on Twitter. We have
no, but I would like them to trade Johnny Beecher at the draft. And if you want to put Jaukb Lauko on the fourth line with Kastelic and someone else, great. Maybe it's Nutty. Maybe it's Lauko, Nutty, and Kastelic is centering those two guys. Mm-hmm. I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with that fourth line. Because you got a little bit of scoring, you got a little bit of skill. You know, I think Lauko and Nutty have some chemistry. They both are fast. They're both kind of feisty. They'll both hit a little bit. Kastelic will drop the gloves. Lauko will drop the gloves. So I wouldn't mind that. And you know, you got a little speed there too, which I don't hate. And you know, then you try to fill in your top 9. And Beecher, I think, you know, I don't really care what you trade him for. I just don't want him on my team anymore. You know?
Yeah, true. Camberger, Mr. Matty Barry, hit the tremolo pedal. What's that mean?
It's probably some kind of audio, something or other.
Oh,
I believe it's used for guitars, make your audio go up and down. But who knows?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'll hit it when I find it. But thanks. Chara's first 2 years weren't so smooth either. Yeah, they were terrible his first 2 years. I mean, they were bad. Produce Bergeron had a -28 the first year that Chara was there. That team was bad.
Real bad.
God awful. Worse than this one. So that was one of the worst teams in Bruins history, really. That was a terrible team. That's why they culture changed. People talking about Marner they're on your Marner bandwagon out here. Do you think Marner's getting to market?
No.
I don't either. I think they'd be stupid to let him go.
I think he might want to go is my only saving grace, my only hope. Because I think they've said, or I've heard rumors that the Leafs have like prepared an extension, like they want to extend him. The Leafs want that thing to happen, and he doesn't want to talk about it right now. He doesn't. Okay. No. So I don't know if that was because of some of maybe the trade stuff that popped up with his name.
Right.
You know, it was rumored that the Carolina was asking for him in the Rantanen deal if Rantanen was going to go to Toronto.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe he's just a little disenchanted with the thing.
They asked him to waive his no trade clause, and he said no.
Okay. So there you go.
There you go.
That. So you know, maybe he's a little disenfranchised with the Maple Leaf, and you know, they haven't done great in the playoffs, so maybe he's looking to move on somewhere else. You know, what better place than Boston that's had the Maple Leafs number for all those years? Come down here and play here instead. People love him here. I'll love him.
Oh yeah,
sure. I'll guarantee to love him.
Oh God, I love him. I love him a long time.
Yeah. So yeah. Put him on the second line with, you know, I don't know who, Mittelstadt,
somebody,
some other goal scorer.
I don't really care. Yeah,
give me a goal scorer to play with Mittelstadt and Marner.
Yeah, there you go. Put him with Mittelstadt and Poitras. Marner. No,
too many passers.
Oh,
need a shooter. Need a shooter.
I don't know about, you know, Poitras is an interesting guy. I mean, I thought before the trade that he was a really important guy for next year. Now I'm not so sure. I think if you get a couple of wingers, I mean, is there going to be a spot for Poitras? I mean, I don't know what to make of Poitras.
I don't either, because he's shown some promise, but then also shown some, like, he gets pushed around fairly easily. You know, he's been kind of up and down with his play. So, I mean, he's still very young. So maybe he just needs more time in the AHL.
Yeah, sure.
You know, maybe he needs some more seasoning down there. And he needs to, you know, get that confidence back up like he had when he was down in Providence earlier this year. And maybe that's what you do with him next year.
Unless there's an injury or two, he's not coming back this year.
No.
Absolutely not. I don't think so. I think he's going to play right through the playoffs there, and hopefully he carries them to a playoff run and gets some more confidence, and then comes into training camp ready to go next year and see what happens. I mean, it'd be great if he was pretty good and had a good year next year. It would help the team tremendously, but it's also going to be telling on who they go after this offseason to add to the team, and how that'll tell you what they think of Poitras, I think, right now anyway.
Yeah, I think the fact that they went out and got Mittelstadt back, I think doesn't bode well for him.
Right now, right.
I don't think that. I
think that's an interesting call because they did get Mittelstadt.
Yeah,
and that kind of takes that second line center thing.
Well, and then
second or third.
The prospect from Toronto was also a center.
Yes. So maybe they think.
What is it? I can't think of his last
Fraser
name.
Minten.
Yeah. Fraser Minton's a center too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it might be looking like, maybe you're trading Poitras and somebody else at the draft to try to help your team. Or
Pavel Zacha, pack your shit.
You think so, huh?
Yep, there was.
Do you think
teams were interested before this deadline?
Do you think they would trade Pastrnak's buddy?
I don't know.
I don't know if they do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's the reason he's still here.
He'll be on an expiring contract too, for what it's worth.
Yeah,
I think they would trade Poitras before they trade Zacha.
Yes,
I think they would. But it's an interesting thing because you are kind of you don't have enough really good centers, but you have a lot of centers all of a sudden.
Yeah,
like in the pipeline. Like it's kind of a you have a bunch of centers.
Yeah, and I'm not sure he's a winger.
He's a winger. I don't think he's a winger.
No, I don't think he's not great. Yeah, I don't think that's his.
No, it's not his thing.
No,
and he's not a fourth line center. Like I don't know. You've got Lindholm, Mittelstadt, and Zacha. Now I guess you could push Zacha to wing.
You could.
I guess you could do that. But boy, big off season for Matt Poitras.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
It is.
Who's the coach next year? Says C2 Paint. Sully.
Yeah, people are saying if Mike Sullivan gets fired from Pittsburgh, he could be the coach. McAvoy's father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be weird, but I could see that happening because he's a Massachusetts guy. He's a local guy, so I could see that. I mean, they love their Mass guys. He was here before, so. I could see that 100%. Mm-hmm. And he is a little bit of the no nonsense guy. I don't know if he's a hold accountable guy. I
think he's like everybody else, where he caters to the superstars and everything.
I need a hold accountable guy as the coach. Yeah. That's who I want. Whether it's
or guys who just innately fucking play hard. You know what I mean? And don't need to be fucking in your face.
Yeah. Ideally, that's what you want is
getting the identity of people.
Yeah, you bring in guys that are going to play hard all the time. Ideally, you want a bunch of Patrice Bergerons and Brad Marchands on your team that are going to play hard all the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, ideally, that's what you want.
I like more of that.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, how about Rick Tocchet getting all over Jake DeBrusk and fucking sitting him and saying you earn your playing time?
Yeah, it's not even just Jake. It was Jake, Elias, and Besser. All of them, I think.
All three of them.
Yeah.
Sat.
Yep. So
they did.
It's not going well out in Vancouver for those guys and for Jake especially.
Well, Sean Michael is on the Chara could coach at some point bandwagon again. I don't ever see it happening.
Yeah, I don't. It's a tough lifestyle.
It is
a tough lifestyle, like the travel of it all and being on the rink and all.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not for you and me, but for guys who have been through it all the time and the traveling and we would love it because we'd get paid, way more than we've ever been paid in our lives.
Sure. Right. Yeah, I'll take it.
All the money. They have all the money in the world. Like they don't need to do it. He doesn't need to do it. The only way you would get into coaching is if you absolutely love it. And like, he has other interests. He's a kind of a worldly guy. He does fucking Tour de France for shits and giggles, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So
triathlete.
I mean, I don't know if he likes it enough. I think he's probably kind of like a Adam McQuaid or like a, guy like that, where you're like, I'll come in, I'll help you out during training camp. I'll, shoot the shit with you every now and again. If you need me to come in and guest lecture about, punching somebody in the face, whatever, I'll do that. Greco-Roman wrestling, throwing somebody on the ground, I'll help you. Smashing Max Pacioretty's face into the curved glass, I can help you with that. But the day-to-day stuff, I'm not sure he'd be into that.
Those seats behind him, there'd be obstructed view.
How
can he stand
not
the
even just
bench?
the first row, but like the second and the third row?
Like 3 rows would be like
fucking
looking
gigantic.
around like he's a telephone pole.
Yeah.
I don't think that's great either. DeBrusk has 11 goals and 14 points at the end of November over 11 games. The other 50 has been the same amount. He's got 22 goals. He's a minus 12, which is unlike him.
Yeah.
But Jake is Jake. He's like
streaky as fuck.
He's like Frank Vetrano. You know what I mean? He's a little bit better player than Frank Vetrano because he's faster and he can defend.
Yeah.
But he's of that ilk. Like, he's gonna score some goals and you'd be like, oh, we really missed those goals. But other than that, there's not a lot of substance there.
No.
And you gotta fucking drag the guy across the finish line every time. You gotta wake him up after his alarm goes off 16 times. Like, you gotta Jesus Christ. Like, you just I don't want to coach effort. We don't want any more of those guys.
There was too many guys, I think, that you had to coddle kind of on the team. Too many guys that were like sensitive and like needed like, I understand the mental health thing and I know it's real and stuff, but you don't want too many guys on your team that you have to like be cognizant of that all the time. Like, that to be in the back of your head, like, oh, I can't say certain things to this guy because I might lose him. Yeah. Like, you need guys who have a little bit of a thicker skin, a little bit, mentally tougher. Yeah. And maybe that's me being, 50 years old and not 25, but, whatever. That's the way I feel about it, is that, you need a little bit more mental toughness from guys. And I think the Bruins, as an organization, had some guys who were great guys personally. Like DeBrusk, by all accounts, is a great guy. Charlie Coyle, Brandon Carlo, like fantastic guys, fantastic dads, good hockey players. But, you needed to give them a little extra attention or a little poke or a little, extra, feeling good about yourself, like a pat on the back, like that kind of thing. And you shouldn't have to do that with, half your roster.
How about Matthew Curtis says JJ Peterka, Mason McTavish, both RFAs. If they don't sign right away,
I love me some Mason McTavish.
I would love McTavish. I mean, if I would trade Poitras and Beecher for McTavish.
Anaheim would laugh in your face, but I would do it.
Yes, I would do that. Poitras, Beecher, whatever. Second round pick.
Yeah,
from McTavish. I'd take McTavish. I really would. I really don't think McTavish or Peterka are going to get to market, but
no,
we're getting. I think they're going to probably sign. But
I like both of those guys, but I really love McTavish.
I do too. Geekie, same amount as DeBrusk, 22 goals. He does. So I don't miss Jake DeBrusk, and I don't miss Ryan Donato, as Michael talks about. Like, I don't miss those guys. Those guys aren't the type of players I want anymore. I don't want the Vetranos and the Donatos and the DeBrusks and all that. They might score a goal every once in a while, great. But I want hard to play against guys. I want guys who hunt pucks and a little nasty, a little chippy, more of that too.
I want guys that compete, and I feel like DeBrusk, when he competes, is fantastic. But it's once a month. It's once every 2 weeks, or it will be for a month. Yeah. And then he'll take the rest of the season off. Yeah. So that's what happened with him this year. It was like October, November or whatever, nothing or whatever it was. And then or maybe late, like from Thanksgiving to New Year's, he was like hot as a firecracker and scored like a goal a day, for crying out loud, and then disappears from January on, nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't want that. I don't want, like Trent Frederick this year. Part of the reason we wanted to get rid of the guy, he was skating around like it was a public skate for a month.
Yeah.
No points, nothing, no hits, no fights, no nothing. Didn't affect the game in any way at all.
Yeah.
And you can't have guys like that on your team. You can't have passengers. Charlie Coyle, same thing this year. Passenger. Many nights where he didn't show up for any reason. No shots, no nothing. No, I mean, you can't have that. You need guys that compete night in, night out, and hunt pucks and are tough to play against, and that's compete. It's compete. I want guys who are going to compete.
Like watching this team now it makes you wonder. Like you look back at that other team with Coyle and DeBrusque and Carlo and all these guys, and now it makes sense. Like that team was like, when it was good, and there were times where they just didn't show up.
Yeah.
And, you see now a team that kind of the first 2 or 3 games there has shown up, and played really hard. Win or lose, I mean, what you're getting as far as effort and stuff. And hockey just looks different with this team. It just does. It looks
different with effort. It really does.
It really does. It really does, no matter how skilled you are. Marco Rossi, too, says Pejman. Yeah, we're on the Marco Rossi train.
Yeah, I love that.
They're going to have to come to Jesus there in Minnesota. Someone's going. It's probably Rossi, I would assume, because they just got too many guys they're going to have to pay.
Yeah.
So it might be Rossi. I don't know if you're in the market for it because you don't really have much to send over anymore, but we'll see. Let's see, Gallardi too.
Oh, yeah, I like Gallardi.
Yeah, I like Gallardi. Gallardi's okay. I mean, at this point, you need another like legitimate offensive presence. You need another like, I know it's hard to get, but you need like a top 40 player. Like you need like one more legitimate player.
You know who I'd like to see them go after, and he's a little bit older, and I'm not sure if he's cashed or washed or not, is a guy like Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah, I've loved Tyler Toffoli as a Bruin.
Because he has experience, he has cup experience, he's played on really good teams, he scores goals. Like if you put him on the other wing with Marner and Mittelstadt, say, or whoever that second line center is going to be, I think that's pretty good. Like that's a guy that could potentially score 30 goals.
Sure.
Yeah. He's done it. Yeah. And I think he has 20 and change this year on a bad Sharks team. So
really surprised that he didn't move somewhere.
Yeah.
Really surprised.
I mean, maybe they're keeping him there as kind of a, veteran guy, veteran presence.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
True. But I like Toffoli, and we talked about Toffoli here a couple of years ago. Like he's been linked to the Bruins before.
Yeah.
In Fox. Could be a Michael Ryder type. Yeah, that's a good Michael Ryder type is a good comparison.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Good call. Rossi is an RFA, 23 years old, 52 points, 64 games. Offer sheet and steal him. Young and star potential. I'd be down.
What does that take? Is that 2 first for an offer sheet? Depends on the value of the contract, I believe.
Depends on the value of the contract, yes. 2 firsts and good, yeah. So that's something you have to. I mean, are you going to be bad enough to make those first round picks not as valuable? I mean, you're going to be good enough, brother,
right,
to make those. And I think you'd be good enough if you get Rossi and another player. I think you're a pretty good team.
Sure.
I think you're a pretty good team.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly don't think you're a lottery team with that group.
No.
But who knows? It depends also who the coach is. And I'm really scared. Here's the next thing I'm scared to death about. I was scared to death about the trade deadline, and it came through, and I'm thrilled, tickled pink. But I'm really scared to death about this, how they're going to play coach scenario. Because this coach has to be here you have to agree, this next coach has to be here for at least 3 or 4 years. Like, you can't keep this coaching carousel going. So this guy has to be nailed for the next 3 or 4, I would say.
Yeah.
He's going to be a guy you're going with for a while.
I'd agree.
So this is a scary one for me. I don't know who it's going to be, and I don't know what type of style they're playing. Whatever it is, I like it now. I like what this is. And if they make the playoffs, I hope they don't fall in love with Joe Sacco, which they already are half in love with him, and say, Jesus, we'll give you 1 year, Joe. Like, we'll give you 1 more year, see how it goes. Like, I'll lose my mind.
I'm just throwing this out there. Do you remember what I said after he was named?
What's that?
I said if he makes the playoffs, they're going to bring him back. And you're like, no, they won't do that. I'm telling you, if they make the playoffs, they're probably going to bring him back.
I'm going to fucking die. I'm going to die a fiery death.
I don't want him back either, but I'm just thinking a lot. This is what they do.
They do. They love their people.
Cassidy was a interim guy first, wasn't he?
He was. Yeah. Cassidy was Julian. They brought him in the year before they fired Julian. Like, they set him up. Yeah. Like, they set him up, essentially.
But he was interim, and then he got the job, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he did. Interim, got the job. Yeah. I'm just putting
it out there that I said it was going to happen already. I told you already that if they make the playoffs, they're gonna rehire the guy. They're gonna hire the guy. He's gonna get the job. If he pulls this collection of suck into the playoffs, he's going to get the job. Be prepared for it. I'm telling you.
Oh, fuck. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're gonna just have a new segment called Smitty Insider, where you just come up with something.
I've decided.
Nostradamus, Smittius.
I've decided I'm gonna be a fake insider.
Yeah, be a fake insider.
I'm gonna be a fake insider. So I'm gonna tweet from my account, and basically I'm just gonna steal the tweets of real insiders, and then I'm gonna say my sources, which are those real insiders. I'm going to say my sources confirm all the stuff that they say. So I'm going to be an insider. But not really.
Smithstradamus.
Yeah.
I mean, Adrian says Smitty always predicts correctly. Got to listen to him. That should be the moniker. That should be the slogan. Smitty always predicts correctly. Got to listen to him.
You got to listen to him.
Yeah, he's like Rich Keith.
Can we put that on a t-shirt? I'll wear that shit. I'll wear that shit around like this nobody's fucking business with my own fucking saying on it.
Oh my god! Yeah, but it's Smithstradamus, and underneath in quotes. Listen to what he says.
Somebody else predicts correctly. You better listen to what he says.
Oh my god, this will fly off the shelf.
I love it. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Yeah, Connor needs to start a spreadsheet with all the Smitty predictions. He should. We should go back. That'll be painstaking, but we should go back and all the shit that was predicted.
In reality, I got probably like 85% of things wrong.
Maybe not, but the ones that are big, you got right.
I've nailed the big ones. Nailed the big ones. Nailed the important stuff.
Adrian's giving you her permission to requote it. So,
thank you, Adrian. We appreciate that. We'll give you some kickbacks if it ever turns into a t-shirt.
You're right. Don't quit the job yet, but we will.
Yeah, we've only sold like 3 things off the merchandise.
I know.
Oh, fucking Christ! Could someone buy some goddamn merchandise?
We sold like 3 and we gave away like 5.
Yeah,
so we're -2.
Yeah, we're in the hole right now. So somebody please go on the damn merchandise shop. Use the code Sorry John. Get 20% off for fuck's sake.
Sure.
20% off and buy some shit. It's nice stuff. It really is. I own some of it. I wear it around. I have mugs. The mugs are beautiful. Got all kinds of nice things. So please.
Yeah.
Dishwasher safe mugs.
Dishwasher safe mugs.
Yeah, it is dishwasher safe because my wife questioned it, and then we had to switch our mug fucking vendor because it wasn't just dishwasher safe because my wife wouldn't buy it otherwise. So there you go.
Didn't buy it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, is that Screech? Is that Screech modeling the shirt? No, it's Mason Lohrei.
Yeah,
if you look closely, it looks like Mason Lohrei.
It is a cross between Mason Lohrei, John Beecher, and Screech.
And Dustin Diamond. Yeah.
Yeah.
There he is. Oh my God.
It kind of is Screech.
Maybe that's why we're not selling it. It looks like a flag off.
I mean, fuck. If we're gonna get somebody from Saved by the Bell, we should have got
put Tiffany Amber Thiessen in that thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Connor, can you effort that, please? Can we get Tiffany Amber
Thiessen up there?
Model our shit instead of Screech, please?
Yeah.
I mean, we would definitely sell more merch if she was modeling it.
We absolutely would. An Avalanche season ticket holder coworker of mine asked me what he was getting in Coyle. I paused and said, well, if he plays like 2 years ago, he'll be great, says Jonesy. Yeah, it'll be great. Yeah.
If he plays like he's played this year, you'll get a ghost.
Yeah. You'll get a ghost.
Skates around aimlessly. I'll tell you what, though, I was watching some of the Avalanche game. He had a great pass.
He did.
To Jonathan Drouin from behind the net.
Coyle and Drouin on the line. Yeah. Jesus.
For a goal. So hopefully he does well there. I wouldn't mind seeing him do well there.
I hope Coyle does great. Whatever. Local guy. Hope he does great.
I really do. I really hope he does well. I think obviously he's a good guy, and I would say that I want Carlo and Marchand to do well too, but they're in the Bruins division. So there's only so much you can hope for there.
Great. I'm really interested to see where Marchand goes this offseason.
Yeah.
And if it's like Pittsburgh or Colorado, or if it stays in Florida. And I'm also interested to see how long the deal is and what the number is.
Yes.
So if it's a 1-year deal, I think it still leaves the option to come back here the year after. But if it's 2 or 3, then he's finishing with somebody else.
Yeah.
So, and I want to see what that number is. Is someone going to give him 7 and change? That would be a stretch for me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see though if he gets 3 times 7 somewhere else, or if he takes a 3 times 4 or whatever, a short-term deal with another team. Then that's kind of that's a little bit of an FU to Bruins management and so forth there. If he takes a little bit of a discount.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. It was where did I have it? I just lost it. Pejman, the Smitty shitties. Yeah. There you go. Make that shirt right now. Will you watch the Panthers games as Marchand is playing? Yeah, if they're on some sort of streaming service that I have, sure, I'll watch it. Yeah, I'm interested to see him play. I'll watch their playoff games because I'll be interested to see how he gels with that team, how he performs, and if he has a big, he probably won't have a huge playoff. But if let's say he has a playoff like last year where he played pretty well in that Toronto series. Was it Toronto? In the Toronto series, right? No.
Florida,
the Florida series, where he played pretty well. He had a stretch of 2 or 3 games where he played pretty well. If he plays like that, he has a chance to get a pretty good deal from somebody, because someone will fall in love with his playoff performance, like Matt Bolesky, and he'll get a deal. If he doesn't play all that well or can't play that much, then it might keep his value down. I don't know.
Yeah, it may. I mean, he's going to be banged up until right up close to the playoff time. So, we'll see. He might not be playing at 100%. That might hurt his value. We'll see how that all ends up working out. But I'll definitely watch the games. I'll watch. I want to see, who he's on a line with down there and how that all works and how it gels and, how he kind of fits into all that. So, yeah, I'll be interested to watch them. I'll be following all the other Bruins. I'll watch, I'll watch late night fucking Edmonton games because I want to see Trent Frederick do nothing. I want to see Justin Brazeau get scratched in Minnesota and see how Brandon Carlo does in Toronto, because they're playing him a ton of minutes.
Yeah.
And things didn't start well out there for him. He was -2 in his first 7 minutes. Then they rebounded a little bit and came back, and he settled down a little bit. But it'll be interesting to see how things go up there for him, because that is pressure. Like, you think Boston is pressure?
pressure in Boston.
That's a whole different kind of pressure because it's a bigger market. It's a bigger city. It's been longer since they won.
Yeah.
The fans
and they bleed. You think Bruins fans bleed. They bleed Maple Leaf.
Yeah. Fans are rabid up there. Like that's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure.
It will
on Brandon Carlo up there. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles all that.
Speaking of things not going well and watching the Panthers game, maybe I'll skip the first 2 games like somebody else on their roster.
Oh, a little shot at Mr. Ekblad.
Oh, yeah, Ekblad.
What do you guys think of that suspension?
20-game suspension for a substance abuse program violation.
PED violation.
PED violation. Yeah, so, stop taking PEDs. I don't know.
Yeah, he said
and
that.
He's a UFA, right?
He is.
Yeah. So
he's.
I don't think it'll hurt his UFA status because I don't think teams give a shit.
No,
honestly, they don't care.
No.
I think the only people who really care are the fans. To be honest, like the league cares and the fans do. I don't think the teams give a shit at all.
Is Nate Schmidt on that team too?
Schmidt is on.
He's on the Panthers. Yes.
The Panthers. Yes.
So he was the last guy to get bagged for PEDs in 2019 or whatever. So maybe that's a whole thing down there. Maybe they're all.
Let's investigate it. Let's investigate it.
Let's suspend the whole squad. Let's get them all out of there.
No state tax and PEDs. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Supplied by Keith Kachuk and Matt Kachuk and all those Kachucks.
Allegedly.
They're psychos. So
allegedly.
I'll tell you what. Toronto, Boston first round, says Matthew Curtis. Give me a Florida, Boston first round with this ragtag bunch. Like, honestly, nothing to lose. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? If the Bruins get swept, it's expected.
Yeah.
So who gives a shit? It's all gravy if it's Florida, Boston.
Yeah.
And I want to see it. I want to live for it. I want them to fucking bury people.
Me too. I want Zadorov fucking sticks in teeth. I want people losing teeth every shift he's on the ice. You want to stand in front of the net with me? Boom. Yeah. Go get some new teeth.
Yes.
I want it. I want it.
I want it all. Yes.
I don't inject it into my veins.
Yeah. I just want it to be a bloodbath. I just want the Bruins to go in and just steal game 1 and just be feisty and the old Bruins hockey, and they'll probably lose the series, but who cares?
Yeah.
Make it hurt. And then Florida gets buckled in the second round because they have nothing left. That's what I want.
The Bruins won't get the fucking draft pick.
Yeah. Okay, great. Gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I know.
Give me that. Give me that.
Yeah. I'm up. I'm here for it.
Yeah. It's cut in. Sad case says it's cut in with the cocaine in Miami. So there you go. There you go. Yeah. Marchand to Nashville next year, says Michigan Mike. Huh.
Sure.
I guess.
They like taking guys. They collected a bunch of dudes there.
Steven Stamkos and Brad Marchand, the fucking Geritol line. Yeah.
Jonathan Marchessault too.
Jonathan Marchessault. Yeah.
I can't believe those guys all went there and they suck so bad.
They sucked. Yeah, they sucked. Bruins would have to rattle off a long win streak, which they haven't all year. But if they snuck in and got the Leafs in the first round, that would be fucking hilarious. Beat them in 7, take Marner.
Yeah, look, like that plan. The Bruins to get into the playoffs are going to have to go
oh my God, 14 and
14
or 3. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Pretty 12, 2 and 3.
What do they have? They got 16 games left. So yeah,
they're gonna have to be really, really, really good. Yeah, they're gonna have to get to 90 points probably.
Yeah,
and they're at what 68 now?
68. Yeah, right. So they got 16 games left. They got to get 16 points, right?
No, they got to get
22 points.
22 points.
22 points in the 16 games.
11 wins. Got to go
11 wins. Yeah.
11 and 5 are better.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna do that thing again. 16 games left. I'm gonna give you the schedule.
Okay.
We're gonna do that thing. We're gonna see if they can get to 11. All right. So the first game is at Ottawa.
Fuck.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a win.
All right. Yeah. I'm on board. We're gonna be fucking positive tonight. Yeah. I'm on board. W.
Give it a win. At Ottawa, win. Okay, Tampa Bay at home.
Win.
Buffalo at home.
Win.
At Vegas.
L.
At San Jose.
Win.
At LA.
L.
At Anaheim.
Win.
At Detroit.
Win.
Okay, so that's let's see. We had Tampa, Buffalo, 1, 2, 3.
6-2.
6-2.
Yeah, Connor's keeping track.
6-2. Washington at home.
L.
At Montreal.
We're going, so that's a win.
That's a win. Carolina at home.
Win.
Okay, at Buffalo.
Win.
At New Jersey.
Win. No Jack Hughes.
Chicago at home.
Win.
At Pittsburgh.
Win.
Jersey at home.
Win.
That's 11, isn't it?
That's like 12-3.
12-3.
Christ.
Yeah. There we go. We're in.
There it is. And
there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're in.
I'll tell you what, there's San Jose in there. There's Buffalo twice. There's Anaheim. There's some games in there.
Yeah, look. They've played down to competition at times. So those things worry me, certainly. Some of those games, I don't think they're going to win those games. But, you know, I was in the spirit of it. And look, Jack Hughes is hurt. New Jersey has struggled to score with him not in the lineup. They'll probably rattle off fucking 9 against us now that I said that. But, you know, they haven't been the same team with him out of the lineup. Dougie Hamilton's hurt too. So, you know, they're struggling a little bit. You know, there's some opportunities there. There's some opportunities. Yeah. Like these next few against like the Ottawa game, like Tampa again at home after you just buckled them. Like that's a big game too, because they're not going to take you lightly now. They're going to come in ready to go. You know, they got something to prove. They're still trying to hang on to a playoff spot, trying not to slip into the wild card. Like, you know, people are kind of closing in on them. So, you know, that's a big game for them too. So there's some games here in the near future that are really going to tell the story of whether or not this team is going to be able to kind of claw back into it. You know, they might not get all the way back, but can they claw into it enough that they're hanging around there come April and you're like, oh, they still got an outside shot. They still got an outside shot. That's all I'm looking for at this point in time. Play hard, you know, make us be proud of you. Tonight was a great example of that. And just hang around, until, you know, maybe you fucking kick one in on the last day of the season and you sneak in at the end like Washington did last year. Yeah. Washington was left for dead. They sold at the deadline. Yeah. And then went on a run and got in. So, I mean, it can happen. Yeah. You can do it. They did it. You can do it. You have as good of a goal scorer and, you know, good goaltending and some good like you have guys who can do it. You've been there. You've been into the playoffs. So like you have a chance. You just got to hang around enough.
Yeah. And I agree with Zach. At Ottawa is a must win. And I'll even go further and say that at Ottawa, Tampa at home, and Buffalo at home, you have to win the next 3. And I think if you win the next 3, then you have at least somewhat of a legitimate shot. I think you have to get 6 points in the next 3. Because then you're at Vegas and you're on that West Coast road trip. So,
well, yeah, the thing about all 3 of these is they're division games too.
Yeah,
so
they are.
Like they're big games.
Yeah, they are. So I think you have to win them all.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you will. And look, it may not happen. C2 paint. It may not.
It probably won't. Look,
it probably won't. It probably won't. But you have to win the 3.
They had.
And if you win the 3, then I'm in. Then I'm in with both feet. And I'm waving the towel. And
for karma against this Ottawa Senators because they played Detroit last night in a must-win game for Detroit, and they played Linus Ullmark, who was stellar, gave up 1 goal, I believe, and had a 980.
He had 48 saves.
And he got the night off completely tonight, and they had their AHL starter back up for Forsberg to probably prime him up to play next against the Boston Bruins.
Sure.
Swayman and Ullmark from the biggest game of the year. There you go.
How did Ottawa do tonight? Did they win?
They were ahead late. Pinto scored. They were ahead late. I saw. I don't know. They're at 73 points, so I think they did.
They won 5-2.
Yeah, they did
5-2 over the Flyers.
Yeah, it's Columbus that you need.
Did us a favor. Beat Columbus 5-3.
Columbus, that was a big one that was a big run for the wild card teams. Columbus is at 70. Rangers and Boston both at 68. Montreal,
Jets beat the Rangers, so that was good too.
Yeah, Montreal, Detroit at 66. Islanders at 65. So there you are. So Montreal and Boston 68, 66. So there you go.
Some big games coming up.
Yeah, 0. I'm at 0 expectations, says Zach. One last thing before we go. What Peter Clifford says, what is with the refs giving Florida a free challenge when a puck crossed the goal after the whistle? Then when no goal was confirmed, no penalty for Florida. I think all I can think of is that someone said, hey, the puck went in, and the linesman said, yeah, the puck did go in, and they kind of used their discretion to see it, to watch it, to see. I don't know. I don't know why.
Well, I think it's one of those things that's like if the whistle blow, like when did the whistle blow kind of a thing. So I don't know if Florida actually challenged. I think they were probably like, look, the puck went in, and then they asked, the puck went in, and then they probably reviewed it
together and reviewed it on their own.
Without doing a challenge.
I think they can do that on their own without a challenge.
Because if you hit the puck and it's moving before the whistle blows,
right,
and the whistle blows and the puck is still continuously moving,
it's a goal. Yeah,
it's a goal still.
Yeah, that's happened for the Bruins. The Bruins scored a goal like that recently. Yeah, well, not recently, but maybe this year sometime, where the puck did go in. And the puck and the whistle did blow, so it was the right call. Yeah, but I think that's why they did it that way. Yeah. All right, Bruins win 3-2. Comeback win against Florida. It was a sweet, probably best win of the year, just for all it meant to the team and to the fans and everything. It was a great game to watch, especially the third period. Great to see a team fight back. Great to see them finish it at the end and finish it in style. With the bag out of Sam Bennett. So Thursday night at Ottawa is a huge one, and let's get together and discuss it after. Thanks everyone for the comments, and we'll see you Thursday night. Hey, check out the new episode that's out on YouTube. See you. Bye. Go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.